Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Slangin The Bizkit podcast, the new Slangin The Bizkit podcast. This is episode 6. I got a guest today who I've known for about 2 years. Amazing man, even better goalie coach. Welcome to the Slangin The Bizkit program and Mr. Derek Bujan, presented by Sheath Underwear.
Nice to be here. The only thing you missed was how good looking I am.
You are good looking.
I am good looking. I try.
You're going a little bit gray though.
I am going a little bit gray.
We both are.
I like the salt and pepper look though. Like you got the little speed streak going. I'm getting kind of all over. It's because I'm experienced and I'm getting weathered.
Well, you're getting what? How old? 38?
I'll be 38 this year. Yeah.
When's your birthday?
November.
So we get a little ways away. I'm not going to be here for your birthday.
I might come see you on my birthday. That's the plan.
Will you actually?
That's the plan. I'm in the process of getting my passport, and I'm planning.
Oh my God! You're not
planning a road trip.
You're not going to get that till like 24.
No. I got a secret spot.
Can you tell?
I know people.
Can you tell?
Well, when's it's going to come out? Because I can't say
It's
before.
coming out on Sunday.
Okay, I'm going Friday. Owen Sound. Go to Owen Sound. They got about 7 people. Nobody goes there. So that's my ticket. That's my ticket to the U.S. for the winter.
I'm picturing you like setting up a tent outside like the passport office. Having to camp out.
No, I have a job. I'd sleep in the truck. Yeah, I'm not tenting anywhere.
Just drive your truck to the front of the line.
Yeah, boom.
You ever seen that? You seen that Family Guy cutaway when Peter does the Boston Marathon and he's dead last, so he hops in a car and just starts like running people over?
Yeah, well, because that actually happened. Someone did the New York Marathon and they found out they cut off and they got into a cab and the cab took them to the finish line.
No, that's an actual thing.
That was an actual thing. That actually happened, yeah. I don't remember which year, don't quote me, but that was an actual thing. And it might have been the Boston Marathon, New York. Don't start yelling at me that I'm wrong, but that actually happened, yeah.
Well, maybe somebody on the video version of the podcast
someone can help us out.
Fact check us or whatnot. The podcast is on Apple, Spotify, and the video version also on YouTube if you're listening. I just want to give a big shout out to all the Patreon members. We got a couple. We got 6 or 7. That's making the podcast kind of go around. The support for Sheath Underwear, our presenting sponsor of the podcast, is presented by Sheath. And the YouTube version. The YouTube version of the podcast has been hot. The video version, even if you're listening to Apple or Spotify, I know you can't see Booj if you're in the car, but you can just hear how good looking he is through the mic that he has on. This is actually also, too, this is the second week in a row in-person podcast. Never did an in-person podcast before. The options this week were Matt Murray or Booj, and Muzz didn't text me back. So.
Ooh. Well, you know what? You just let everybody know that I bumped Matt Murray.
What do you mean?
Well, you got to choose between Matt Murray and me, and don't tell him he didn't call you back. Just say you picked me.
I did pick you. Well, I've been telling you for a while I was going to get you on the podcast.
I know.
And the reason being is that you're a goalie coach. You've been, obviously, this is why we're here. We're in your goalie coaching facility. But like you've been goalie coaching for years. You've seen how many guys come through the doors. Philly from when he was, 10 years old till retirement when you guys were crying. I remember that day.
Yeah, I made Philly cry for about 19 years. Yeah, still making him cry today.
Who is Philly?
Philly, okay, yeah. He's reached the status of Prince where he has one name now. He's no longer Jamie Phillips. He's now just Philly. So Philly is Jamie Phillips. He was my first guy. So I was 19, I think, when I started coaching him, and I think he would have been 11. So it was kind of like he was my learning process. I was his learning process. We kind of came through it all together, navigated OHL Cup, navigated OHL Draft, junior, college, into the pro ranks. Now he's carving out a pretty good successful career for himself in the coaching and nutrition and kind of online world. So yeah, super proud of him. And he's my day one ride or die.
And as far as like playing goes, like he is literally like as close as you can get to playing in the NHL without actually playing, like dressing, the stories of Bufflin taking his phone, all that kind of stuff. It's all stuff.
So he's 18 days in the NHL, didn't get a minute. So like he's my original guy. I've had other guys that I've worked with that have NHL minutes, but I always say like the goalie tells you who their guy is, right? If you ask the goalie, who's your goalie coach? If you ask Jamie will say me. The other guys that I worked with that played NHL minutes, if you ask them, they probably wouldn't say me, so I wouldn't take any credit for that. If I helped them a little bit along the way, I hope I did. I hope they got something out of me, but those weren't my guys, so I wouldn't say I have any guys that are full-time NHL guys yet.
You know what's entertaining though? I find as like I've gotten older, I've kind of seen guys like change goalie coaches online, guys who I follow, guys who are like out there. You'll see a guy who just started working with a goalie coach maybe for a week, didn't see him for like 6 months, and then all of a sudden the goalie coach is pumping him online. So proud of my guy. First game here, first win here. So proud of all the work. You did like 3 days of work with the guy. Yeah. I mean, there's one guy that does come to mind, coaching an NHL goalie. We're not going to mention names, obviously, because we don't want to sandbag people or deal with hate mail. I got enough hate mail in my inbox every morning anyway, as is. But guy coaches a Red Wings goalie for 3 to 4 days maybe. And then a couple days later, he's got like a Red Wings like tracksuit on. He's coaching in a Red Wings tracksuit. He didn't coach for the Red Wings. Guys like that. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know you're talking.
Yeah, it is so funny.
It's especially in our area. There's a lot of competition in my area. Within 30 minutes, there's probably 7 or 8 guys, all quality, good quality goalie coaches. I'm not disparaging anybody and their work ethic. But it's funny when you go through the OHL draft, and on my Instagram feed, I see the same picture of the same kid from 7 different goalie coaches congratulating him. And it's just like, okay, like, guys, like, ask the kid who his guy is, and that's the guy that should be posting the picture. So I'm really cognizant of trying not to do that, because I believe the kid will tell you, and the goalie. Like, if you ask Connor Hellebuck, he's your boy, right? Oh, yeah. You ask him who your guy is, there's no hesitation. He's going to tell you who his guy is. And that's the guy that should be putting the pictures up on Instagram and, yeah, not wearing the jacket.
But that's all it is. It's just like another race for, I have a picture of a guy who got drafted. How many likes can I get? How many followers can I get? How much business can I turn out of that? Like, there's so many, and I know we talked about it in the gym the other day, there's so many goalie coaches that are just literally focused on making money. They don't actually care about, like, actually helping guys. Like, we've talked about it before. Like, this week, what day did I come in on? Tuesday? And then Wednesday morning, I said, oh, Booch, check it out. I got DMs from like 20 or 30 different goalie coaches. Come skate with me, Trav. I'll change your game. Well, I didn't come to skate with you. I came to skate with Derek. Yeah. Derek Bujan, by the way, for those that can't put 2 and 2 together. Yeah, anyway. There's so many guys like that.
Yeah, and you're right about, like, you got to care about the guy. Like, you can know every single X's and O's that you want. You can have every system. You can break down your zones. You can be the most technically dialed guy in. But if you don't care about the goalie, it doesn't matter what you know. They're not going to buy in. So, yeah, reaching out to every guy on the internet because you know you're gonna get it on the backside because of the publicity, and you're gonna pull in these kids and then charge them whatever you want. Like, are you doing this for the right reasons? Like, if the right reason for you is just to put money on the table, okay, then you are. But I don't think you're really gonna get out of this job what you want if that's all you're doing it for, right? Like, the best thing in the world for me was the day that Jamie got drafted in the NHL. Like, that, like, I felt like I contributed to that. I felt like I was a part of that. He was so pumped. He was so happy. His dad, I could hear him on the phone when he called me, like, his dad screaming and running around the backyard. Like, to me, like, I was part of that. And then those guys that have just hit you up, hey, pedal my program, I'll give you 60%. Like, what are you doing this for? Why are you in this? Like, this is that, you're not coaching anymore. Okay, now you're a snake oil salesman. Yeah. So you got to ask yourself, why are you in this business? Why are you trying to do? Are you trying to get rich, or are you trying to enrich lives?
Yeah. A couple good stories that I've never told in the podcast or mentioned. We're not going to name names, obviously, for obvious reasons. Bujan knows exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, there was a guy 4 years ago. He says, Trav, I'm flying to Winnipeg. I want to take you for lunch. I said, I don't got a lot of money. Free lunch? Yeah, I'm in. I'll take you up. I don't care where we're going. We're going to, I think we went to like High Steakhouse or the Fairmont, one of the two. And go down for lunch, have a decent conversation. He says, I will pay you to go to all these different goalie coaches that I'm competitors with. I want you to go make a video sandbagging them. Like, that's the kind of industry like goalie coaches are in. Or the guy that you just mentioned, the guy who reaches out, a pretty well-known goalie coach, or I guess a bigger following now in the goalie coaching community. And he says, Trav, I'll offer you 60% commission to sell my programs. I'll give you $60 on my $100 goalie coaching program. It's like, dude, I've never met you. I've never seen you. I never skated with you. And the thing for me too is, like, I'm not going to sit there and like pretend like I'm like the world's greatest goalie, because I'm not, and you know that for a fact. But if I'm going and peddling all these different goalie coaches that just want me to sell a program or whatever, like, it discredits you. It discredits Pasco. It discredits Brad, because you're my guys who I trust, and I think that people see, like, in the videos, like, you guys are my guys that I trust. Do I really trust you if I'm peddling some program for $60? Yeah, it's a joke.
On the other side of it, if it's me, right? So you're coming to me, you reach out to me after this guy makes you that offer. This didn't happen. I'm just saying, if it did, you reach out to me, say, hey, I want to come to your camp. Then I'm like, I'm going to put all this effort into trying to help you, trying to make you a better goalie, trying to help fix your weaknesses and improve on your strengths. But the whole time it's just a hidden agenda that it doesn't matter what I do or how good of a job I did or how the connection that we created together and the improvements that we made, because at the end of the day, you're just going to sandbag me anyway. So, like, that's just that. I'm thinking if I was that guy, like, if you took that offer and you were that guy, that's just such a snake move. Because now it's not only are you robbing me of my time and my effort, but you're also now discrediting me as a goalie coach, which is future paychecks or future customers or future goalies, and taking food off my kids' plates.
And you know who I'm hurting also too is, like, the goalie who may want to come to you, but they see that and they say, oh, I'll go to the other guy that Trav's crediting. But meanwhile, that's the snake guy who is paying me to sandbag all these guys. And, like, I think of the goalie coaches too that he was offering for me to go, like, and sandbag, make these videos for. I'm thinking, I just saved you a huge headache by telling this guy, no, dude, you're a snake. I ain't doing that shit. Yeah. Like I want to help people. I want to build a community, not wreck everybody else in the community. Or like I texted you 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and that guy offered me 60% commission. I was like, this is a joke. I would never do that. I work with you. I don't work with some dude who's making money on the internet.
Yeah, but that's you. You wouldn't do that. How many guys are? There's guys that would take that deal.
Everybody else is.
Right? And that's what, like, you get a lot of flack. Like, I read the comments. People genuinely hate you.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think they're conditioned to hate you. I think you like to play the villain, which is, I said this to you for 2 years. You love playing the villain.
You know it. I love it.
It creates buzz, it creates dialogue, it creates engagement, which helps you grow. But what people don't realize is that your motives are genuine. Like, you genuinely love playing goalie. You genuinely love training. You want to get better. When you show up, you're focused. The circus doesn't follow you when you're on the ice here. Like,
what do you mean?
You're a circus. Let's not get carried away.
Like life-wise or like video-wise?
But like the way you play yourself on the YouTube channel, when we're on the ice, you're not really that guy. You get off the ice and the circus tent goes up and you become a liability. But it's a liability that I love.
Premiums go up and everything.
But you genuinely love playing hockey, and I don't know how, I say this all the time, so I'm hoping you don't cut this out of the podcast, because the people that rip on you don't realize genuinely how much you love playing and how hard you do work, and they just want to rip into you. But you also love that part of it too. So
two parts to it. One, the conversations on the podcast, they're always unedited. There's no cutting. There's some cutting if, let's say, like there's some swearing or some like bleeping, but it's all natural. There's no editing here. This isn't like the other podcasts out there. Two, I love like the negativity of like when people like hate me or like want to have something negative to say, because like to like say something positive, it's pretty easy, I think, to say something positive. But to like say something negative and tell me how much you hate me, like I really had to like emotionally like hit a chord for you to do that. Like I bothered you, and you went so far out of your way to tell me like you suck, you're never gonna play any hockey. Like there's I guess maybe we can name drop them, like the Vaughn guys, all the Vaughn guys that do their Between the Two Posts or whatever podcast. They're sandbagging me or whatever the other day, and I think one of the new guys is like, oh, like this guy's not a pro, this guy's a joke. What's he gonna do for money? Well, dude, you're peddling homes. Like, you're a real estate agent, like whatever you're doing on the side, not making much money. Like, am I rich? Hell no. But I play hockey, and I'm in control of that. Like, that's the greatest thing in the world. And I'm honestly happy to say that, like, you helped me do that. You and many other people, but you specifically have helped me accomplish that goal.
How many goalies do you think, guys like me, like I knew right away that I was not going to be a professional goalie. I knew that when I was 15 years old, right? But how many guys like me or guys that are commenting would trade whatever they're doing right now to do what you're doing? 95% of those guys would do it in a second, right? You get to play pro hockey, you get to travel the world, you get to make videos. When you have kids, if you ever find anybody willing enough to reproduce with you, right? Your kids are going to be able to basically see you grow up on camera,
like live, like in the moment.
Yeah, in real, like they can watch it linear and watch you go through your entire life, right? It's amazing. That's an amazing thing to do, and it's there forever because YouTube's not going anywhere.
I think maybe not so much the kid part, but like the aspect, like when I'm in Sweden, I can't like physically bring my mom and my dad into the moment, but I can send them a video or send you a video, be like, this is what I mean, this is what's going on, and you can actually kind of like be a part of it within reason. I mean, obviously it's different. It's a video on your phone, but that's one of the things that I love the most about it. And two, it's like I haven't really talked about this like much like on the vlog, but like out of high school, I started working full time, like 40 hours a week, like for minimum wage, working in kitchens and bakeries, like through my apprenticeship, on top of playing junior. And I remember like going to work like 5 days a week, thinking like, this sucks. Like, dude, I would literally do anything to not do this. And I remember one day I was driving by the airport, like the Winnipeg airport. I was like, what if I could play hockey, fly around, and get paid to do it, and not have to go work this stupid job and like answer to some dick who like doesn't actually care. Yeah. I get to do that now. It's not paying the bills great, but I love it, and I'm so happy doing it.
Hey, you're living your best life. Yeah. Same thing. I did shingles for 15 years after high school.
Now you have shingles.
Now I have shingles. Yeah. did construction for 15 years. Right, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day, blistering heat. I made good money because it was a family-run business. Like, I have no complaints about the money. But one day I was on a roof. It was 42 degrees. I was sunburnt. And I'm like, I'm done. This is my last day. You know what? And literally quit that day and started doing the goalie coaching thing, and love it. It's nothing better.
Let me ask you this: when you were working construction, were your balls sticking to the side of your leg?
Always.
You know what would help with that? Sheath Underwear. The amazing folks at Sheath. They're the presenting sponsor for the podcast. We got to tell you about them. First off, Sheath Underwear is game-changing. So Sheath was founded by a guy named Robert. He was a U.S. Marine, spent time in Iraq and Afghanistan. This dude's going 3, 4, 5 days without changing his gitch. And his nuts are literally, we're going to keep it PG-13 for all the folks listening home and at work and in the car with their kids. Their nuts were stuck to the side of their leg. This is a real problem. If you're a young kid, you're going to realize this. When you start developing, they stick to the side of your leg on the hot days, and it's the worst. Robert came with the Sheath Underwear and said, I'm going to make something that's going to eliminate that. So they got what they call the ballpark pouch. It's literally a pouch where your twig and your biscuits go into, and then from there, they compartmentalize even further. So your sausage and your biscuits are literally segregated into different compartments, so they have air and room to breathe. So if you were shingling, wearing the Sheath Underwear for 3, 4 days, you would have had none of that. You would have been feeling great, light, and you probably wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't be here. I'd still be shingling.
Yeah, it would have been great.
Man, if there was Sheath back then, I'd still be hauling shingles up a roof.
Well, you know what you need to do? You need to go to sheathunderwear.com, the first link in the video description of the podcast, or in the audio podcast notes on Spotify or Apple. Use the promo code BIZKIT69, BIZKIT 69. That'll get you 20% off sheathunderwear.com, the presenting sponsor for the podcast, and you would have been great. You'd have been ready to roll.
It's like a high five for your balls.
Literally. I got to trademark that. Maybe Robert does.
I get photo cred.
That's great. You know what would have been a high five for your balls? Phillips in his fight with Anders Lindback.
Oh, that was...
We got to talk about that.
That was a high five to Phillips' forehead.
So Phillips, Jamie Phillips, he retired, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? The COV basically killed his career.
I think this is his third season done.
Yeah. Well, he played for the Manitoba Moose for 2 seasons. 2 seasons, and that's how him and I got in contact. I was DMing or whatever, and he's like, hey, I got some tickets for you.
Slid into his DMs, eh?
I literally slid into his DMs. I was asking about tickets or something. He's like, I got you, bro. I got you covered. Hooked me up with some tickets, and then 2 years later, he's like, come skate with Booge. So that's how me and Philly ended up meeting, and then I came here.
That was also my idea, by the way.
Was that your idea?
Yeah, he likes to take credit for everything that this guy is doing. He's taking credit for from me. But I think it was COVID. I was bored, sitting at home, and I'm like, who's this clown on the internet? So I started watching, and then I stumbled across, I think, you making saves in front of the Winnipeg arena, playing street hockey. Yep. And I'm like, what is going on? So I'm like, this guy's from Winnipeg. So I texted Jamie. I said, hey, do you know this guy? He's like, yeah, I gave him tickets or whatever. He hits me up once in a while. I'm like, see if he wants to come and skate. I'm like he looks like he's having fun. I'm like, let's see if he wants to come and skate with you. So then Jamie did, and you did, and you came in, and I got to meet you, and you weren't a complete ass clown. So I'm like, hey.
No, I'm actually not a totally terrible scumbag human being.
You can't say that because now you're ruining the perception.
Oh shit! Well, nobody listens to the podcast.
That's true.
The vlog's doing huge, tens of thousands. The podcast is small. But so the story we're gonna get back to. Phillips, first ever career fight. He's playing for the Moose against the Milwaukee Admirals. Anders Lindback, big Anders Lindback, the big Swede, now playing the SHL for Brynäs in the SHL, comes down. What happens?
Well, to back up a little bit, before the season started, Jamie said he wanted to have a goalie fight this year because he wasn't sure if he was going to play. He goes, I need to have at least one goalie fight before my career's over. So I think he was in the East Coast League. So I'm like, okay, Jamie's not tough. That's not he's a prima donna. He ain't tough. So I'm like, okay, Jamie, sure. So then plays Anders Lindback, gets into it, right? Doesn't take his glove off. Like the very first thing you learn, when you're 5 years old and you watch two guys square up at center ice, because they squared up at center ice, is glove off, elbow pad, and they go, right? That did not happen in this fight.
What happened?
He left his glove on.
And he was trying to hit him with the glove on.
So he got speed bagged, yeah. So now he's trying to grab a jersey with a 580 glove and trying to throw haymakers. But Jamie's 6'4", Lindback is what, 6'6", 230?
Yeah.
Jamie's a 6'4", 195. Just ragdolled.
He did get a couple good shots in. He did get some good ones in, though.
He threw some phantom haymakers, yeah. He made it look like he was there, but if you ask him, he'll tell you he didn't connect with one.
No, but it looked good on film. And then I think Lindback, was it him on top of Lindback or Lindback on top of him?
Oh, no, Lindback was on top of him, yeah.
Yeah. Well, one is still playing and one is retired making TikToks.
Yes.
It's not a bad thing.
I think the fight is what ended his career. I think he did not want it. But I remember the next year he went to the British League and he said he needed one more fight to try and redeem himself.
And he didn't get it.
And that didn't happen. So then he came here and beat you up.
Yeah, so to tell that story. So the first time when I came here, we skated for I think about a week or so. And I said to Jamie, we should give you redemption. We'll go for a fight, a little scrap. We'll play one puck or whatever. Whatever happens, happens. Great video. Either I got beat up or I beat up an AHL goalie. There's no losing here.
Either way, there was clickbait.
It was going to be a great title, and we shot a great, fantastic thumbnail. If you haven't seen it, I got beat up. Great video. So puck goes in. I'm anticipating the puck win. Puck goes in. It's time to square up. I thought we were going to have some fun. Phillips meant business. Like, this was his redemption. Like, all the haymakers that Anders Lindback put on his face, he's not going to put on mine. And he threw the gloves down with authority. He grabbed my jersey. He tucked me over and just started popping, speed bagging me. But there was no actual physical contact. I think, actually, no, he did contact me one time in my nose. But I got like a rock hard cartilage nose, so it's all good.
Yeah, that's a schnoz.
Oh, well, no, we don't have the same nose.
No, we do not.
We do not. But that was that. Now, instead of speed bagging me and Anders Lindback, he's speed bagging old school dinosaur goalie coaches.
Old school. Oh yeah, he's making some waves.
I love it. I love this.
Yeah, what we got? The DM was, you were pissing off all the old school goalie coaches, and you're getting a bad name for yourself.
We got to back this up. So Philly has a master's, PhD?
No, he has a bachelor's in, I don't know what he's got. He doesn't have a PhD. He's working on his master's of physiotherapy. So at the end of this, he'll be a doctor of physiotherapy.
And he literally has like all the records from Michigan Tech for wins, shutouts, saves, all that kind of stuff. And now he's got the education on top of it.
Plus, he's the Division I goalie coach and had a Hobey Baker finalist. And
he was a Hobey Baker finalist?
Yeah.
When?
Yeah. Last year.
Hobey.
So Philly was nominated. He was in the top 10 for Hobey Baker, and he was a top 5 for Mike Richter Award. But as a goalie coach at MTU last year, Blake Pietila, their goalie there, was I think a finalist for the Richter and nominated for Hobey Baker.
That's unreal.
Yeah, so he's got he's making his mark on Blake's playing career also.
And online. So we talked about, like, Jamie and I, about how he should take all the hours that he put into professional hockey and like creating following, creating all that kind of stuff. I mean, he's got a blue check mark on Instagram. Use that to pump his business because he wants to do like the nutrition, the physiotherapy, all that kind of stuff. And for a while, he was like, I really don't want to do any like goaltending stuff. I'm kind of tired of goaltending. And I think we all kind of feel that, just with how like stale and how like these dinosaur gatekeepers are what really kind of hold the key to the community in a sense. And I just told him one day, he's like, well, what should I post? What can I do? And I was like, just help people. Post goalie stuff that'll actually help people, and people will pay you with their time. And he's like, okay, what do I post? He said, post a TikTok. Post 3 TikToks and give me a call back. And he calls me. He's like, oh my God, my engagement's through the roof on Instagram and all this kind of stuff. What more do I do? I was like, keep helping people. And now, fast forward like 6 months since he started doing that, he's like doubled his followers. He's got a huge engagement on every single post he makes. And he's pissing off these dinosaur gatekeepers that should honestly have no business being in the goalie community. Like, these guys are so ancient. We got guys that are writing books, having you play video games in your basement, making glove saves, standing on your feet and your shoes in the living. We're not going to name names, but if you're a goalie coach, it doesn't make sense to me. You're peddling video games to a kid, telling him this is a great alternative, which it is. If you don't have access to ice, it's better than nothing. But why would I play a video game? We don't swear in this program.
You almost swore.
I almost did. My dad was going to call me. He's like, son, don't do that. Why would you play video games with goggles when you're making glove saves on your feet in the basement when you could actually like skate? Like, these are the kind of like dinosaur gatekeepers and goalie specific training this, and like these people are just so set in their ways. And Philly is just taking just an axe to all of it, shaking it up, and he's making a following because people want this stuff.
Yeah, I think there's an appetite for it. But I think what happened is the goalie community grew so quickly through social media. People tried to differentiate themselves with some ridiculous gimmicks, big time, and then a lot of these kids bought into that with their time, but more importantly, their money, their wallets, and it's all crap. Like, it's legit crap. There's no substitute for quality ice sessions. Quality, and we're seeing guys on the ice with resistance bands. We're seeing guys on the ice with headsets on. You're literally on the ice, and you put the virtual mask on. Like, how can you substitute that for watching a puck off a stick blade or reading a play? But hey, I got Sense Arena. Come pay me $500 an hour, and it'll look really cool, and you're going to get a lot better. We're going to see all that crap die out. It's going to go away because it's a gimmick, and that's all it is. And Jamie head on went straight after everybody, and he's getting some hate for it, but good on him. If people aren't hating on you, you're not doing your job.
I remember that was one of the first things I told him, I think a week or two, and he's like, I got some messages from some people that are like, maybe you shouldn't be doing this. I was like, no, that is good. If you're pissing people off, they care.
Yeah.
And them caring is what you need. If they don't care, they just carry on with their day, you've done something wrong. You have failed.
Yeah, you're not making any changes. You have to change the mindset of some of these guys, and there's a new crop of goalie kind of ideology coming in, and I think it's for the better for sure. And but I think at the NHL level, it's the slowest change, and it always is at the slowest change at the top level. But you're seeing a difference now. Like there's more NHL development coaches, and that's trickling down to major junior, where you have their head goalie coach, but they're also getting some development guys that are kind of responsible for the draft picks. So it's slowly starting to become a spot where teams are investing their money because they need it.
Would you agree that it's maybe more like the ignorance of parents and kids, like they're coming into the goalie world, they don't know a lot, and they see these like buzz technologies, these things that like grab their attention, like the shiny object kind of like in the rearview mirror, and they're like, I'm going to latch on to that. That seems like a cool idea how to train, when in reality, you're clicking your heels behind the goal line, doing 3 RVHs and a jump and a hop, skip and a high five. Like that's not doing shit. Like we were getting lit up on TikTok. I know you're not on TikTok, you can read it in the comments, but we were posting a drill the other day where I literally I shuffled over to the side angle, and then I shuffled square, like focusing on getting square, getting weight forward on a puck. It is probably the most boring thing ever to post, but there's no quality goalie coaches on TikTok, so it doesn't really matter. But these kids are like, where's the intensity? Where's the speed? Where's the this? Where's the... You're totally missing the point. I even put in the caption, like, we're focusing on getting square. Speed doesn't matter. It's August 29th today. Camp is October 13th. We're not worried about that. Like, there's just so much misinformation. I don't want to use that word, but like that's the best word I can think of misinformation in the community about that kind of stuff.
I would just say confusion. I wouldn't say misinformation, because I don't think people are misleading.
I think they are. I think they're misleading a lot of kids in an attempt to take their money. Like the guy that we talked about who's posting, if you can't do a full splits, if you can't bench 225, you can't squat 300, you'll never be a pro goalie. Well, okay, Connor Hellebuyck can't do a full split. He is a 2-time Vezina nominee and a 1-time Vezina winner. Bench press. I bet you Ryan Miller was not benching 225. That guy, he won a Vezina, Olympic MVP. Like, all this stuff you're trying to sell guys.
Vasilevsky has 7-foot arms. Do you think Vasilevsky is bench pressing 225 pounds?
Probably close, because he is only like, I think he's like 230.
It doesn't matter. His arms are so long, there's no way. If I'm wrong, someone show me a video of that. But you to tell a kid if you can't do the splits, you're never going to play in the NHL, it's ridiculous.
I can't do the splits anymore.
Well, you're not playing in the NHL. Let's not get carried away.
Sorry.
But that's just ridiculous. But back to your intensity thing. There's a time and place for training with intensity, and this is one thing that I don't say I taught you this, but I brought this to your attention, is that when you first started coming to me, everything was go, 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 go. And it was go, 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 doing everything very mediocre. And I just kept saying, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. And you're like, well, I want to go. I'm like, no, you need to slow down. And eventually now you got that, and things are getting better. But yeah, for kids, but that's the mindset of the goalie community. For you to post a little 2-movement skate pattern where the focus was holding depth and getting square and getting jumped on because there was no intensity. There was literally zero intent to have any intensity in that drill. But it's so basic, but it was so important.
Watching an NHL goalie coach like warm up with like their goalies, what are they doing? Like I remember when Roberto Luongo invited me out to Panthers morning skate in Winnipeg. Granted, this was like 5 years ago. They literally did gut traps the first 5 minutes, just right in the belly every time, like nothing fancy. And then you got this like 13 or 14-year-old telling me, "Oh, I could do it way better than you. I could do it way faster." Well, okay.
But I think that's because go back to the confusion and the misleading. Parents want to do what the other guy's not doing, right? So say your dad brings you here, right? And then your goalie partner's dad goes somewhere else, and then they talk in the lobby. Oh, Johnny had this virtual reality headset on at his training, and they were really making him watch pucks, and he was off the ice, and it was super cool. Well, now your dad's like, well, man, my kid's got to do that because this guy's doing that. He's going to get better than my kid because he's not doing that. And then it just continues and spirals and spirals and spirals and spirals. When in reality, the basic stuff is the stuff that kids at 10 do and the kids in the NHL do. That's the stuff that pays the bills. The rest of it is the stuff that makes you pay the bills. I'm going to put a sensorine on your head. You're going to pay me $500 an hour. I'm going to put a rubber band on you. You're going to do power pushes across the blue line. You're going to pay me $500 an hour. You know what a gym membership costs a good life?
10? 12?
$10 a month?
Yeah, 15.
Why are you not utilizing that time in the gym to work on your explosiveness, your strength, your balance, your athleticism, your foot speed, your flexibility, your mobility? like all of that. And then instead of paying $500 on the ice to use the Sense Arena or to use the rubber band, you actually work on reading the plays, learning to see the game in slow motion, skating, and positioning. Like, to me, like, that just doesn't make any sense.
I think when you start slowing things down, you kind of start like seeing the game for what it is, which is why Manscaped is amazing. The brand new folks at Manscaped. Manscaped is back on the new podcast. This is the first time they're having them back. We're having them back, and I'm excited to have them because they have the Lawnmower 4.0. The Lawnmower is cutting edge technology. They got skin safe technology. So if you want to trim the legs, you see how good my legs are looking? I don't know if you can see it on the video version. I trim these bad boys. I lost 14 pounds this summer. I'm going to shave them. I'm going to make them look good, lean and mean. We got the skin safe technology, 90 minutes of battery life, all that kind of good stuff. You get the crop reviver and the crop spray to kind of keep the boys nice and fresh on those hot, sweaty summer days when you're shingling, or even if you have shingles. We do not discriminate in this podcast. We take care of everybody here. And if you go to the link in the video description, manscaped.com, you're going to use the promo code BIZKIT. BIZKIT is going to get you 20% off. And free shipping, international shipping too. So you're going to save a lot of money. And again, we want to thank the amazing folks at Manscaped for partnering with us on the podcast and coming back. And they're going to be back till end of December, which is awesome. So this podcast is not going under anytime soon.
And the battery on those things lasts forever. That's the biggest thing.
You know, my favorite thing is when I travel, sometimes like you'll hit the button. Here, I'll turn it on. You hit the button and you just start hearing it going off in your bag. They have a travel lock, so you hit it 3 times and it won't turn on in your bag. It's awesome. Then I say battery life. And I don't have like my Manscaped lawnmower like shaving into my toothbrush because it's not like buzzing around.
Yeah.
Like shit. It's
worst thing to happen. You get to your location, you're a single guy, you're at a hotel, your Manscaped's battery's dead, and you might have a lady coming over. Now it's a mad scramble for a disposable razor. Mm-hmm. And then now all of a sudden you nick your nuts and
you got razor burn too.
Yeah, you're in big trouble.
You're really in deep.
Confidence is just.
We're down 3, going into the third period. We need to come back. And the comeback is right here with the folks at Manscaped.
That's a good ending on that.
I have no idea what we're talking about. I got so into the ad.
we were chirping the Sense Arena.
The goalie coaches, the gatekeepers, and all that kind of stuff.
The
I mean, like we could go off for forever talking about like some of the goalie coaches and like how nutty some of these guys are, just like trying to take your money. I mean, like we've talked. I mean, how many hours?
It goes back to like, okay, are they actually trying to make better goalies, or are they trying to differentiate themselves to charge more money? Right. But the market bears what the market bears. So if the kids are going to pay it, then they're going to keep doing it. It's more on the parents and the athlete to be able to see through what works and what doesn't and what's important.
Would you agree that the gap, it seems like since I stopped like playing hockey, like where you're paying, the gap between like the elites and like the middle class of hockey has kind of gotten bigger and it's getting more expensive. Like when I played AAA, like Winnipeg AAA hockey, I remember my mom cut a check for like $5,500 for the season. A lot of money back then, but now we're talking 10 to 15 grand for a season for the same AAA level. Different teams, different kind of stuff, but like 10 to 15 grand, like, and that's just for the season. You got to buy gear, you got to buy training. You can't just play that level and be dog shit. All right, like there's just so much money involved in like the elites. It's almost like a pissing contest. They're trying to one up the next person, whether it's functional or not. It seems
it's
like
an elitist sport, and it really is. And ice costs have kind of created a lot of that too, but also training. But even on the player side, so like all my pro shooters that are local to me, if they're 25 years old, when they were coming up through the ranks, there was no skills coaches. Right now, they come home from their season and they have 5 or 6 different skills coaches, right? But there's 30, 40 different skills coaches, which as a goalie coach also creates a different kind of element for us because now players are more skilled. So we have to now figure out what our players doing differently now so that we can change the way we coach. And I can't do that with a rubber band, and I can't do that with a Sense Arena because players are getting smarter, players are changing the way they score goals, coaches are changing the way they coach to create more offense, and as a goalie, we have to be able to adapt to that. But it's definitely the difference between the guys playing AAA in this area, so I'm Ontario, Canada.
We're in Hamilton, by the way.
Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Yeah, it's all the same spot. Yep. AAA in this area, I would say average, I think is easy 10 grand a year. And that doesn't cover on top of your sticks, your training. Some teams, I think the average team that I deal with in terms of association will give each goalie $750 a year for off-site training. So they'll give the goalies $750 each to come here and train with me. That gets them about 6 weeks of training. So the rest of a 6-month season, the other 30 weeks is basically off their dime. So it's
where are
definitely...
they going to make the money, though, too? Like if they're about 16, 15, 16, 17? Or is that even too old?
For what, AAA guy?
For that, yeah.
Well, the kid's not making any money. You can't play AAA hockey and have a job if you're 15.
In the summer?
In the summer you could, yeah. But if you're a 15-year-old kid playing AAA hockey, you're going into your draft year. You think you're working?
I came from a different background, so I had no choice but to work.
Yeah, I would say like the kids that I train here, we have them here 5 days a week. Like they're here 5 days a week. They lift 4 days a week. They do yoga and they get treatment 2 skates a week. We do video, we do hand-eye. Like they get every weekend is off, and they get Friday afternoons off. And I build that in the program.
They don't work during that time.
If they're going in their minor midget year, I don't think any of them. Some of them do work, but I would say the guys that are going in their draft year aren't working. They're not having jobs. Parents are, but the kids aren't.
When I was 16, I remember like this was like the worst. Like I would go. I don't want to say the worst because it was fun, but it was just like so like grueling. Like skate 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and then start work at 9, work 9 to 5, 9 to 6 in a kitchen, and then go home, get food, shower, and then go back to the gym for like 7:30, 8, home by 9, and then do it. Like it was like the worst thing ever because it was just like so grueling. But you take the work side out of it, you can put more time into your actual game. But if your parents are making 300, 400 grand a year, that's not a problem.
Yeah, that's why it's turned into like an elitist sport. It really has.
I get a lot of kids that ask me, do I need money to be good at hockey? And I mean, technically, no. You could be like athletically gifted and get some good bounces. But it's like almost impossible if you don't have, like, how are you going to afford any of the stuff that are like the necessities to do it?
It's tough. And equipment costs are rising. And not only is equipment costs rising, but equipment quality is declining. So if you're paying $2,000 for a pair of pads, and if you're playing junior A hockey, that pair of pads breaking down by Christmas. So it's like, do you buy another set? You get through the year, maybe your team will throw you a little bit, but you're almost $5,000 in equipment if you're playing junior A hockey now, a year.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's only like half. That's just like pad, glove, blocker, let alone helmet, stick, chest, pants, skates.
It's not a cheap sport. It's not a cheap position. But that's why I get upset when I see guys charging $500 an hour for dog shit.
But you get a jersey. You get a jersey with their session.
Well, of course. That way the guy behind you knows where you went, so you go pay $500 too.
You know what? I had a goalie coach tell me this a long time ago. And he said, I don't have jerseys because I don't give a shit what jersey you wear. Like, you wearing my jersey doesn't do anything for me. If anything, it's better that you wear somebody else's jersey and come to see me because you've gone to there. I know you were there, and now you're here.
Now you're here. I'm same. I've never given you a jersey.
No.
Yeah, you've been on my ice 10 times with different jerseys. I don't care what jersey a guy wears. If a guy comes in and wears my jersey, I like, thank you. I like it. I appreciate it. But yeah, there's nothing better than seeing a guy come in on my ice wearing my competitor's jersey. Like, that's an ego pump.
Especially after the fine you got last year. Can we talk about that or no?
The fine? Yeah, you can talk about the fine.
Yeah. Well, so this is one of the last things we'll leave off before we cap up the podcast. But I remember last year, Buj was telling me, he's like, so if you're outside of Canada, and this may verge like on the border like political, so if you don't want to hear that, just skip ahead 5 minutes, not a problem. So in Canada with the COV, lockdowns and restrictions, you weren't allowed to be open. Obviously, like, your guys that are playing, they need to be sharp. So you were open to guys like me and other guys that were coming in to skate. Well, they had a snitch line in Canada where you can call the snitch line and be like, oh, Booge is doing sessions, send the cops there and shut them down. Well, one of your snake bag competitors, who, by the way, sent me a message on Wednesday, come skate with me, Trav, come skate with me. So he calls the snitch line and says, Booge is open, sends the COVID police here, and they give you a fine, which obviously you still haven't had to pay up to this point in time. And I'm assuming you're probably not going to. You don't have to comment on that. I'm assuming you're not going to, right? But that's the community. Like, your competitor down the street is trying to rat you out for trying to help guys in probably a time where they probably need it more than anybody.
Yeah, and you know what? Okay, I would never call on anybody. I'll say that up front right away. But I also don't care that he called. Yeah. I really don't. And we've had beef for a long time. We're not gonna say who it is.
Yeah, I know who it is.
It's a pretty one-way beef. Like, he does not like me. That's fine. That means I'm doing something right.
Hey, every time I come to see you, I always get a message from him. Come down, come skate with me. I would love to skate with you.
And if you came in and said, hey, I'm going to go down and skate, I'm like, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. Like, I really don't care because...
But I don't have an interest to go skate with him. Like, I have an interest in coming to skate with you because we've spent time together and you've helped my game, and I want to continue that trajectory. I don't want to go skate with some dick who doesn't have any interest in my game outside of having a video out online of him looking cool and get some more clients. Yeah. I'm here to get better.
when I lose a client, and I've lost guys, like it happens, it's not like, oh, why'd that guy steal my guy? It's like, what did I do to make that guy want to go somewhere else? Why did he feel like he needed to go somewhere else to get something that I wasn't offering? Now, if he was offering some ridiculous stuff like bands and Sensorina and Panda Bears, like, okay. But what am I doing that made this guy feel like he had to go somewhere else to improve his game? Like, it's definitely a reflection on what am I doing. I don't try to project it on the other guy. Like, oh, why are you calling and stealing my guys? Now, if you're calling and trying to steal my coaches, which I've had before, and I would like to get into that one.
You want to get into that real quick?
Well, yeah, we can. But if you lose a client, like, look in the mirror, man. Like, why are you losing a client?
I think it comes down to communication. Like you, Pascal, Brad, the reason I keep working with you guys is because there's communication during the season, during the off season. I think that we have a good time when I'm working here with you, and we actually get shit done. And I actually feel like you care about me as a person, which is almost more important than like me as a goaltender. Like, you actually care about helping me achieve my goals, which in a sense is like your goal. Your goal is to help me achieve mine, and Pascal and Brad are the same. But I don't know, maybe like a lack of communication. I know like guys I work with in the past, that's one of the reasons why I leave, because I'm like, there's no communication, there's no like actual like invested interest in me as a person and helping me achieve my goals.
Yeah, you succeed, we succeed. It's pretty easy math. Like, we're goalie coaches. If we don't have guys having success, we don't have the next group coming in. We need you guys to have success. I needed Philly to have success because Philly restocked my shelves for the next group. My next group of guys are now going into college now. When those guys get into pro and have success, that's going to bring me in guys. And that's it. But the one, like, I've had so many phone calls from guys that, like, every athlete thinks they're super tough. Guys call me crying all the time. There's not a guy that I've coached that I haven't seen had in my office crying because a coach says something mean to them, or they got traded, they got cut, they're not getting game time, their girlfriend broke up with them. Oh, okay. Right? Like, that happens. That's life. And we try to prepare you guys for that before you leave us, so that it's just a phone call of you crying. It's not you on a bus coming home crying. Yeah. Because you guys got to be, but you can't do that if you're not invested in the athlete. And that's where the difference between being a coach and being an instructor, right? Someone actually, one of my competitors said that to me one day. He goes, "You're more of a coach than I am. I'm more of an instructor." And I don't know if he meant that to me as like a dig, but I took that as the biggest compliment I've ever got. And I've been using that as kind of a point of reference for a long time now, where, thank you. Like, I don't know if you're trying to chirp me there, but thank you for the compliment.
But now you have the guys that, like the other competitor goalie coaches, coming in to do lessons with you and steal your coaches and steal your clients.
Yeah, there's a couple guys that they showed up. I walk into my classroom and I'm like, "Hey, I know who you are. Why are you here?" So he's in gear on the ice, signed up for one of my group sessions on a Saturday morning. And I'm like, "Hey, you're so-and-so goaltending." "Yeah." I'm like, "What are you doing here?" "Oh, I just want to take a lesson." I'm like, "Okay." Like, so I'll teach you stuff. I'll show you some stuff. I'll help you with your game. But that guy's ulterior motive was like 2 days later, he was texting and emailing 3 of my coaches trying to hire them to come work for him in Toronto. And it was just like, okay, like, we're going to have an issue. I'm like, "You want to come here and skate? That's cool. I'll help you with your game. Like, that's fine. You want to take my drills? Hey, I put my drills on the internet, right? Like, I'm not trying to hide my drills. They're there. You go to my Instagram page, I got a bunch of drills there. Go to my YouTube channel. During COVID, I put out tons of content on YouTube during COVID. Guys can use them. Like, it's there. The drills don't make you a better goalie. It's the purpose of the drill, and it's the adjustments and kind of the intent of what we're trying to do, and you got to build it linear. So that's why it's like, hey, you want to steal my coaches? We'll have an issue, but you want me to train you as a goalie? Pay your $75. Come on my ice.
You know it doesn't cost $75? This podcast, every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, midnight in China. We're doing 10 a.m. in Winnipeg, 9 in Calgary, 8 a.m. if you're in Vancouver. Every Sunday, new episodes on the YouTube video version, Spotify, Apple. And moral of the story, don't trust snake oil salesmen online. There's lots of them. There's lots of Instagram goalie coaching accounts and lots of other guys that we're not going to name drop. But maybe that's for another episode when I come back next year.
Yeah, last thing I want to say on that is the simple stuff works, guys. The simple stuff works because the easy stuff is so easy because we do it so often. And if we're doing something so often, that needs more attention than something like a rubber band on the ice or lifting weights in your skates, which I've seen, knee drop rotational stuff, hand-eye on a Swiss ball. If it looks ridiculous, it's ridiculous. Keep it simple, and you guys are going to have success in your game.
Excellent. Hey, Mr. Bujan, it's a pleasure. Privilege to have you. Second in-person podcast, or first time in person?
Hey, rather be second than third.
Excellent. We will see you next Sunday on the next episode of Slangin The Bizkit on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. And check out our amazing sponsors, Sheath, promo code Bizkit69. There's a link in the video description. And Manscaped, promo code Bizkit for 20% off and free shipping. We'll see you on Sunday.